Sometimes you reach a point in life where you just have to create. You have to draw, you have to paint, you have to write, you have to play music. You have to get the ideas in your head out into the world, onto paper, in the air. You have to tell the stories that are in your heart. You have to do it or it hurts. It actually physically hurts your soul. That's how I felt 25 years ago when I got serious about this journey that I was on as an artist. And along the way, I've learned some things that can smooth out what is sometimes a bumpy path. Because we all know life gets in the way. But there are some things that we can do that will help us stay on our creative journey. And let's talk about it. I've been an artist all my life. My mom said I started drawing as soon as I could hold a crayon. I didn't go to art school. I didn't major in art in college, although I did major in theater arts, so maybe that's similar. But I didn't major as a visual artist. All of my training has been as I've grown. I've studied with people. I've taken classes. I've read lots of books. I don't think I want to say I'm self-taught, but I'm self-directed. By my mid-40s, I was so frustrated. I wanted to paint and draw. I wanted to do it so badly that it gave me a stomachache all the time, right in my solar plexus. And I lived with it. I don't know why. Inertia, life, busy doing other things. But that all changed one day when I was at the beach in Mexico. And there was this family, this mother and her two daughters, and they were sitting on a wall with the ocean behind them, and it was so beautiful. The emotion of it was so beautiful. It wasn't just a pretty scene, it was the actual emotion of it. And I wanted to capture that, or not capture that, that's a wrong word. I wanted to remember that. A photograph would not have done it justice, because I'm just frankly not a great photographer. And I decided right then and there that I was going to finally get serious about art. I decided at that moment to commit myself to being the artist that I wanted to be. Back in the States, I signed up for art classes at a local art school, and I spent the next 5 years of Saturdays drawing the human figure. Yeah, the naked kind. As my skills slowly grew, and I was slow, make no mistake, it seemed to make my life better. I felt happier, I felt more confident. Drawing and painting and learning how to do it just made me fit better in life. Does that make sense? I took that first step. Your first step will look different. Your obstacles will look different. But some roadblocks are common hitches in our get along. They're common to all of us. And I've got some strategies that will help you clear your own artistic path. Follow your desire. Get a sketchbook and some pencils and just start drawing. Get a notebook and start writing words down, or start throwing paint at a piece of paper. It doesn't matter if you're very good. You don't have to be good to start. And in fact, please stop thinking in terms of good and bad. It's not a binary. You are only where you are. You're just unskilled when you start, and that's completely normal. None of us are born knowing how to do much of anything. We eat, we sleep, and we poop. As we grow, we gain skills. When you first start making art, you're just a mere babe. And that's good. It means that you're open to learning. It means that everything is geared up to learn. And in fact, I try to keep myself in that space. It's called the beginner's mind. That's a subject for a whole different video. If you'd like me to make that video, comment and I'll give it a shot. It's not that you're good or bad at anything. It just means that you haven't developed the skill yet. And you can develop any skill. Be patient and kind with yourself. We artists are often too hard on ourselves. I know I am. We want perfection and we want it now. But perfection, it's a fool's errand. We're human. We make mistakes. A crooked brush stroke, a shape that's a little off, a clashing colors. That shows our humanity. We're not machines. So be patient. It all takes time. Your art journey is not a sprint. It's a marathon. You're in it for the long haul. Art is a long practice that over your life is going to change. It's going to grow, retract, and grow again. Art is a journey with destinations that change as soon as you think you've arrived. Remember, Picasso said it takes a long time to grow young. It takes a long time to get back to that space of openness, of flow, of freedom in our thought processes. Ignore the critics, including yourself. I don't know about you, but my worst critic is that little mental gremlin, that little goblin that lives in my head that trashes everything I do. I keep that little monster quiet. He is not allowed to drive. He is not allowed to speak. He is not allowed to buy snacks. He is not allowed to derail my art practice. My mantra, my weapon against him is, it's not about the product. It's about the process. It's not about the product. It's about the process. The end painting, that's not what it's about. It's about my enjoyment of the process. I have to remind that little orc in my brain all the time. I'm experimenting. I'm playing. I'm asking questions. I'm asking questions of my materials, of my ideas, of my heart. Now, other people also might not understand what you're trying to do. They might not like it. And that might be all they think about it is, I don't like it. Ignore them. Just keep creating. As you grow, eventually you'll find a friend or a mentor that you can trust who will give you good criticism or good critiques to help you find your way on your own artistic journey. But, you know, if the advice isn't helpful, don't listen to it. Listen to your heart instead. If you want some tips about how I deal with criticism, I made a video about that and I'll put it in the notes so you can go watch it if you want to. Find time, make time. We're all super busy. We have jobs, we have kids in school, we have dinner to make, we have grocery shopping, we've got taxes to do. It seems like every minute of the day there's something that we must do. Even if we're retired, it seems like we just have so many things to do. There's joyful things like our grandkids, and then there's also things like dealing with Medicare. But even if I'm super busy, I always make time for making art, even if it's only 10 or 15 minutes a day. You know, you can get really a long ways on your journey on 10 or 15 minutes a day. I once heard a story about a man who he painted only on weekends, but Saturday mornings were sacrosanct. They were sacred time for him, and he painted every day for 20 years. And at 20 years, he had a full body of work that he was able to approach galleries with. And I don't remember who he was, but I remember he ended up getting into museums. So just a few hours a day, just a few minutes a day can help you build your skills and alleviate that pain in your heart that you feel when you're not creating. In a perfect world, I try to schedule my creative time. I treat it like a ritual, the way some people treat prayer or meditation, which makes sense because creativity is kind of a meditation. I had a friend at art school who had a sign on her little cubby that said, "Time is the coin of your life. How do you want to spend it?" And I think of that often. I think of that often when I'm deciding whether to doom scroll or to watch a television show, to do things that aren't honoring my desire to create. Because really, and I know this is hard to hear, but it's a matter of priorities. What is your priority in life? And sometimes we have things that we have to make a priority, but sometimes we don't. So I've chosen in my life certain priorities, and one of them is I value my creative time far more than I value a clean house. And so my house is an unholy wreck. But hey, it's books, right? So it's really like a library. Find art in your day-to-day. Keep your creativity alive by looking for inspiration wherever you are. You don't have to live in the French Alps to have a nice landscape. There are plenty of scenes in your local park that are beautiful, touching, exciting, and dramatic, or even a coffee cup will do. Draw a coffee cup. Don't tune out at your day job either. Having a day job is not a bad thing. Ernest Hemingway, and I know we don't like him right now, but he had some good things to say. Ernest Hemingway said, in order to write about life, first you must live it. And I think the same thing applies to art. A day job gives you experience that you can bring to your work. The people you meet and the experiences you have at your day job, or standing in line at the pharmacy, or waiting in traffic, will bring insight into your artwork. The people you meet might someday become subjects in your paintings. They might even become your customers. Just keep creating every day. Get thee some sketchbooks and use them. Your sketchbook is your playground. It's a place where you can be loud, swing from the monkey bars, and make ugly paintings, ugly pages, unfinished drawings. It's a place for discovery, play, fun, and insight. John Singer Sargent, the great 19th century painter, said, "A sketchbook is a great laboratory in which to experiment with ideas." For years, I carried my sketchbook with me everywhere. If I had to wait for somebody, if I waited for the train, or if I was at the doctor's office or at the farmer's market, I would pull out my sketchbook and draw. I would draw what I saw, or sometimes I would just tell myself stories, and it was really fun, and I filled a lot of sketchbooks. It really helped my art practice grow. And then came my cell phone and social media. I gradually stopped carrying my sketchbook, and I have to say my art practice suffered because of it. Recently, I've started carrying my sketchbook again and using it, and I'm really excited to sketch rather than scroll.
Create like there's no tomorrow.
Just make stuff. The muse favors the active artist. I firmly believe that making a lot of work, and I mean a lot, will help you grow as an artist, help you move down that path. Experiment. Use colors you hate. Make ugly stuff. Make pretty stuff. Give yourself the freedom to make mistakes. So when people ask me how I got better at watercolor, I tell them that I paint a lot, and at the end of the year, I go through all my work and I throw away half of what I've painted throughout the year. People are often aghast at this, but I make a lot of bad work. And the reason that I throw half of it away is if I know I'm going to do that at the end of the year, then I make enough work that I don't feel bad about throwing half of it away. That's just a little mental mind game I play with myself. It makes the work less precious. And with the loss of preciousness, I get a lot more excitement, a lot more freedom in my work, because I'm not afraid of screwing things up. Because the only way we make progress is to work, and to work freely. And every failed painting is a step towards that painting that you might want to keep. When I finish a piece, I take a photo of it and I keep that photo in a folder on my computer. And at the end of the year, I'll go through all of those photos and take a look at them as well. It helps in the throwing away part too, because I still have a record of all of my paintings, even though I don't have physical copies of them. It makes it easier to toss the paintings when the time comes. Fall in love with what you do. Sometimes we get so focused on the end product that we forget to enjoy the process. We're so focused on that perfect painting, script, sculpture, that we forget to enjoy what we're doing. And the process, it's really the fun part, isn't it? I love the sensoriness of a pencil on paper, or the sound of my brush in a jar of water. I love all of the preparatory work that goes into it. I love the color studies, the compositional studies, the revisions, fooling around with my materials. That's why I paint. And if I get a good painting, oh, that's great. That's wonderful. But I really enjoy the journey. And that's all. That's it. Those are the steps that kept me, that still keep me thriving and surviving as an artist, even when I want to quit. It's not magic. It's not talent. It's just the willingness to show up and do the work every day, or as often as you can. It's refusing to let that creative fire burn out, because in those ashes, you're just going to find pain. One of my favorite quotes that helps me get on getting on is by Jack London, who said, "You can't wait for inspiration. You have to go after it with a club." If you felt that deep burning desire, that ache to create, don't ignore it, because it will burn a hole in your soul. Just pick up a pencil or a paintbrush, or write some words in your notebook. Just start. I'll be here traveling alongside of you on this wild, wonderful, frustrating, completely irresistible creative adventure called art. Okay, wild and wise ones, I will see you in the next one.